I'm bringing you guys an interesting video today. Last week we had Matt Shields join our community and do a masterclass and a Q&A. And for those who don't know Matt Shields, I did a podcast with him, I believe, maybe 4 months ago. One of the most amazing podcasts in my opinion. He asked really great questions and we thought it would be an amazing thing to invite him because he's been building social media marketing agencies or acquisition agencies every month, it seems, right? I think when he joined when he started the masterclass, he said that he built 7 to 8 that he's been able to scale past multiple 6 figures, if not 6 figures per month. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this topic. If you guys want more of this, please remember to hit subscribe, comment below what you guys loved out of this Q&A session, and find it helpful. Bye.
Get paid in direct proportion to the size of the problem that you solve. So we want to solve the biggest problem possible in a client's business, which in the niches we go after is almost always customer acquisition. But deeper than that, it's actually business knowledge. Most local businesses fail not because they don't know how to get leads, but because they're bad business owners. Your business is just a reflection of the way you think. If you think in a bad way, your business is going to be bad, and your bank account will reflect that.
Matt, who's came out recently, I mean, in the last year and a half, you guys have come out of the shadows of running an agency and actually just started going a bit harder on building a brand. So I think, Matt, maybe you can, I think in the year ago, you weren't necessarily pushing much.
9 months ago.
Yeah, right.
I think I posted, I think I collabed with Thomas 9-10 months ago. And then I posted my first legit video 7 months ago. So it's been pretty short.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think, you guys have, I think one of the great things about building content once you've built something great is just that, I guess the proof is in the pudding. So it's you don't have to build an audience before you build anything. So it's just from the validity, because you validated building something, the audience is just comes like that because you actually have the expertise. But before we get started, would you like to just talk about your journey briefly so people have more context, and then we can get started on other stuff?
Sure. Well, what's up, everybody? I see some familiar profile pictures, so it's great to see you guys. Yeah, like Serge said, I run an SMMA. So I posted a video maybe 6 months ago called "I built 6 SMMAs in a row to prove it's not luck." Just out of curiosity, I've never done this, but if you guys have seen that video, if you could put a 1 in the chat, I'm just curious if you saw that video. But yeah, so that's basically my story in a nutshell. Is I built 6 SMMAs in a row to prove it's not luck. We ended up going under contract to sell one of our agencies for a multi-million-dollar exit. And because I love the game so much, I decided to build some more agencies. So I recently started a 7th and an 8th agency. We just scaled our 7th agency from 20 to 150K a month in 3 months. So I can kind of break down how we did that, because we did the same thing with our 6th agency. We went from 15K a month to 150K a month in 3 months. So getting to 150K a month quick, if anybody wants to do that, let's talk about it. But yeah, that's basically my story in a nutshell. Left high school after 9th grade, hated my life for a few years. To keep it real with you guys, was in a really, really dark place. And I was pretty hopeless. And then I discovered online entrepreneurship. And I learned that it's a real thing and you can actually make money from your laptop. And it changed my life, and I've been obsessed ever since. So super grateful to be here chatting with you guys. And we can just dive in from there. Y'all will have to deal with my Airbnb background, dude. I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now. I got no mic. I got no setup. Serge and Casey both are making me look like scrubs, but I'm going to do my best.
You look good, bro. You look good. Here's what I'll do. I'll start it off because I don't see any cues in the chat. So hopefully I'll be momentum for everybody else. Really 2 things. I would actually really love to know what you did to get your agency from 20 to 150K a month. Yeah. And then my second question, so I'll shut up and give it to you. A big issue that a lot of them are experiencing in the program is, some of them are running ads and there's a high no-show rate. So we're actually super curious what Estate AI is doing to actually increase the show rate via ads.
Cool. Love both of those questions. So how did we go from 15 to 150 and then repeat it again and go from 20 to 150 in 3 months? It's very simple. So it's hard, right? It's hard, but it's simple. And that's the first thing we have to understand is like the reason people stay stagnant is because we focus on too many moving parts, right? There's this great graph by Sam Ovens. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but he has this graph of energy, and he has this in the circle of the graph, there's a little ball. It says energy. And then out of the little ball points all these little parts. And it's like, this is where your energy goes when you focus on a ton of different things. You can only go so far in every direction because you only have a finite amount of energy. But if you change that and you decide to focus on just one area, you can take all those little parts and you can go up massively in one direction, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. So the first thing we have to ask ourselves is, what are we focused on right now? Every single day when you wake up, what are you focusing on? Where's your energy going? What we do, where we transfer our energy to scale so quickly, is we go completely into acquisition. We focus on marketing and sales teams. That's it. And a lot of people will say, well, what about product? What about product? That's a great question. It's not that you don't focus on product. It's that you don't make product the center of your focus when you're trying to scale. You cannot build the best product unless you have a lot of clients. I see a lot of people at 3 to 4 clients focusing on, man, I lost a client last month. My product's not good enough. No, your sales is actually not good enough. You don't have enough data yet to actually see if your product is good enough. Statisticians say you need at least 100 points of data in order to have what's called statistical significance. So if you don't have at least 100 points of data, you don't even have statistical significance to say whether your product works or not. So our goal is to speed run to 100 points of data. Now, of course, we are trying to provide a good service and a good experience, and I'll tell you guys how we do that while maintaining, quality deliverables while we're scaling massively, but we don't make it the center focus. And we put all of our energy and conversation to how do we get more clients. So paid ads is the biggest secret. If you can crack paid ads, you will never go broke again. If you can crack paid ads, and we can talk about our ads, we can break that down. That's how you scale massively. The second thing is recruiting. So the underlying philosophy here is never stop selling, never stop recruiting. I remember I was scrolling on Instagram a year ago, just at like an event or something. And I'm just scrolling, like messing around on like newsfeed, looking at what pops up or whatever. And I see this agency post, and it's from some agency account. And it says, the secret to scaling an agency to 8 figures. I click on the post. The picture has like 4 likes. And I'm like, all right. It was one of those carousels where you have to swipe. And the first carousel is secret to scaling an agency to 8 figures. I click on the post. It has like 4 likes. I'm like, all right, let's see what terrible advice this guru is giving on Instagram. I swipe, and it says, never stop selling, never stop recruiting. I actually sat and I thought there for a second. I was like, wait, that's the game. That's the game. It's never stop selling, never stop recruiting. You aren't a marketing company. You're not a content company. You're not even a sales company. At the background of everything, you are a recruitment company. A company, by definition, is just a group of people. So you have to focus on, who are you attracting to work with you? What salespeople are you bringing in to be able to scale up the amount of revenue you can create? And then who are you attracting client-wise? And that's all our focus goes into, is how do we get more clients? How do we get more sales reps? So that's the background philosophy, and that's kind of tactically what we do. We leverage recruiters. That's one big tip right there, is leverage recruiters to find salespeople and then put everything back into paid ads. Our first agency, we spent $1,000 a month on the agency when I first came into paid ads. And the second we got into agency, we're like, dude, why aren't we spending $10,000 a month on paid ads right now? And he was like, well, I didn't know we could. He was like, I don't know. Like, I want some money in the bank. And I was like, what are you doing with that money? He said, nothing. I said, cool. What's the best investment you could make? A moonshot crypto that might 2-3x? Like, dude, we can get a 5-6x on paid ads. Like, why aren't we putting all of that money into paid ads? We just put everything into paid ads. I don't even want the money. I give two. That's why I don't buy nice things at all. It's because like I just want to put everything back into paid ads, bro. Everything. I'll put a Lambo into paid ads, and I'll get 10 Lambos. So that's kind of the philosophy. Never stop selling, never stop recruiting, and focus on where you're putting your energy.
Interesting. Quick question about sales reps. When you say sales reps, like what do you mean? Because I guess there's different models of you can run sales teams, like, right? So what are those?
For us, we call our sales reps senior advisors. Nobody at our company is a salesperson, because who do people hate talking to the most in the world? salespeople. Who wants to talk to a salesperson, bro? Who wants to go talk to a person selling a product? So what we call our salespeople are senior advisors. And that's exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to advise the client on what they should do. They take the frame as a coach. You are a coach to this client that's coming in, not a salesperson. So that's what we mean by that. But basically high ticket closers, people who sell products online. And the best tips I can give for finding those people is going to be pay recruiters or run TikTok ads. You can get a lot of candidates running TikTok ads. You can get a ton of good closers running TikTok ads and just saying, high ticket closers want to make $10,000 to $15,000 a month selling an offer that you don't have to worry about fulfillment on at all, blah, blah, blah. Tap the link below and interview with our company. And you'll get like $10, $20 leads with closers who want to sell your stuff. And so we just get a constant flow of closers coming in and applying with us. We're constantly recruiting. We're constantly interviewing. And then on the other end, we're constantly selling. And we just never stop selling, never stop recruiting. So,
okay, cool. Nice. So you guys are spending a lot on ads, I guess, getting the leads, getting the appointments. And then how are you guys solving that no-show thing?
Yeah, no-show rate. So we've been working on this heavily. We've actually, because real estate, our main agencies in real estate, it's kind of a tough niche for show rate. But we've been getting it up this month. And there's a couple things we're doing. Number one, the closers or the senior advisors are manually calling the leads that are booked on their calendar, and they're manually confirming. The beginning of every day, they're calling everybody on their calendar. And if we don't hear back from a prospect, we kick them off the calendar. So, like we kick them off. It doesn't mean we cancel their appointment. We change the color of their appointment in Google Calendar to like red, and that signals a non-confirmed. That way we free up the appointment and another person can book in for that same time slot. And now we can have 2 appointments at the same time, but one of them is non-confirmed. And then if 2 people join the Zoom at once, the person who didn't confirm, tough luck for them. We just tell them, look, you didn't confirm, we'll have to reschedule. So that helps a lot. The second thing we started doing, we just hired a wizard who's an automation specialist. And he freaking custom coded a software for us that will take a video from one of our advisors, and it will basically, it's like what those AI softwares do where you can just like change the name of the person you're talking to. And I can say like, hey, Serge, it's Matt. Saw you booked a call on my calendar. But then I can also say, hey, Alex, it's Matt. Saw you booked it. And I can just say any name.
Yeah.
So he custom coded that for us. And we've started sending those out to all of our prospects. And that helps a lot as well. So kicking people off, freeing up time slots for unconfirms, using an AI video software to personalize the appointment, and then manually calling people at the beginning of every day to confirm whether or not they're going to be showing up.
Okay. So you guys don't have any like Triager or Setter in between the?
We do have one. We have one setter at our new agency. At our new agency, we have 2 setters. So we do triages as well, but we also like the closers taking accountability over it. That way there's no excuses. Yeah.
Closers get lazy after you just feed them money and just people. Okay, cool. Interesting. So maybe to backtrack, because for me, I know everybody has like more like niche questions. For me, what I'd like to do, I like to first focus on a bigger picture scale, right? A more like strategy type of thing. So sure. I'm going to ask you a few set of questions, and then everybody else can just go in and ask their questions. First things first is, what is your, let's actually break down the whole thing from how do you pick the niches? How do you pick which problems you're going to solve, and how do you pick who you're going to solve it for? That's going to be one. What is the positioning? What is the offer that you're pushing out in your marketing, or that's like you think are trending? And then we've talked about sales, so that's good. And then fulfillment.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So first one would be, how do you pick your niches, and how do you pick which problems you're going to solve? As an example, you can pick lead gen problems, you can pick appointment setting problems, you can pick people who are struggling with show rate. Like, which niches are you picking, and what problems are you picking to solve for them?
Yeah. So Elon Musk has this famous quote that some of you probably have heard: you get paid in direct proportion to the size of the problem that you solve. So we want to solve the biggest problem possible in a client's business, which in the niches we go after is almost always customer acquisition. But deeper than that, it's actually business knowledge. Most local businesses fail not because they don't know how to get leads, but because they're bad business owners. Like most realtors are just bad realtors. Most mortgage loan officers are just bad mortgage loan officers. And it's the same thing with SMMA. Most agency owners in the beginning are bad agency owners. That's why masterminds like this are so valuable. That's why there's so many coaches and coaching programs. It's like you don't become a good agency owner on your own. You have to pay somebody. But that's not really a thing as much in local businesses. The mastermind community world is not a thing. So we've brought that to real estate, where we have 10 coaching calls a week. In our real estate mastermind, we bring on special guests every week, just like this. And so we're coaching and we're doing a hybrid model where we're generating them leads, but we're also teaching them how to convert the leads, how to close deals, how to build up a team. We just had a client join our team meeting an hour previous to this call. She came on, she said, I've done I think she said she did 4.2 million in sales in the last year with us, which in real estate terms is like, I don't know, like 120,000 in commission maybe. And she spent, probably 10K to do that. And she said, well, now I'm building a team. Now you guys have my focus straight. Now you guys are helping me. She said, I was all over the place before I came into this program. So we try to teach people how to actually build legitimate businesses. As far as how do we pick the offer or how do we pick the market, there's really 3 things I look for in any niche or any market. The size of the market is probably the biggest thing. How big is the market? There's over 2.5 million realtors in the US. Our other niches are very big as well. So we want a big market, a big total addressable market. The second thing we look for is what is the price of the product that market sells? Real estate agents can make 12K on an average real estate deal. If I get them 1 deal and I charge them 6K to do it, they 2X their money. If I get them 3 deals, they 6X their money. So we want an expensive product, big market, and then ideally they're marketing friendly. Real estate agents invest a ton into lead gen. Gyms invest a ton into lead gen. Chiropractors invest a ton into marketing. Some other obscure niches aren't as like CPAs. They just aren't used to spending on marketing as much. It's just not as much of a thing. So it's a great niche, expensive ticket, tons of CPAs, but it's just tough to really get them to spend on marketing. So those are the 3 things we look for.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Before we go over the other stuff, fulfillment, I want to clarify here something that is super important, which he just mentioned. Okay. For those who've been pushing, understanding the build and release model that we've been pushing. Okay. We're not just going to be lead gen experts and appointment setters and salespeople. We're going to come into the business. We're going to show the person, hey, you're a real estate agent. You need to go from, most people are just selling you appointments or leads. What we're going to do, which is, what Matt essentially is saying, is they solve all the whole gap. They don't just come in and show you how to do lead gen. They'll probably come in and actually show you maybe how to do, maybe you can kind of like go into the mechanisms, how you solve the whole gap, not just like the appointment setting process, but also like other business principles that you may bring into their world so they can become better realtors.
Yeah. One of the things I've found is like working with so many niches and paying so many mentors, the principles of business are the same from market to market. Like the principles are the principles. And what makes you a successful agency owner, if applied to another market, will also make you a successful, whatever the market is, realtor, gym owner, chiropractor. What makes us successful in one business, we can transfer to the other. So we just teach them like the same shit that we probably spend 150K on like masterminds, coaches, all that stuff, like with some of the top guys in the space. And then we're just like, dude, all of this would help a realtor too. So let's just reteach it. And then let's apply what we've also learned on top of that. So we spend a lot of time on mindset because your business is just a reflection of the way you think. So if you think in a bad way, your business is going to be bad and your bank account will reflect that. So we teach our clients, how do you think? Thus you can grow the business. Thus you can make money. It's really all it is like, that's all making money is. It's thinking in a certain way that is conducive to making money. So we teach them a lot about mindset. We teach them a lot about sales. that's the billionaire skill, is sales. The most important word in business is persuasion. So we teach our clients, how do you become a persuasive person? How do you become, because leadership's persuasion, marketing's persuasion, sales is persuasion, everything is persuasion. And most people aren't persuasive. Most business owners aren't persuasive. So we teach them, how do you persuade? And then we teach like team building, operations, all that stuff as well.
Yeah. And do you have any level of where it's like, you know, because we were looking at, you know, the offer that Hormozy had for gym launch, which was when he started working with gyms, he would essentially restructure their front end offer, because most gyms just sell memberships. He would restructure the offer and put it more of like a 6-week challenge and then charge $600. So go crazy on the increasing the lifetime value in the front end. And then he would kind of like have pre-built ads, pre-built creatives, pre-built targeting. And then he would also have a script. And then he would have also like a fulfillment, an automated fulfillment. Do you guys have pre-built infrastructures that you guys place in the client's company, or any level of done for you in your program?
Scripts, like lead calling scripts, listing presentations for real estate. We can't really change their offer because it's like, I'm going to help you buy a house or I'm going to help you sell a house. So, you know,
it's literally different.
I'm sure we could figure something out, but yeah, we just teach them, okay, now how do you present that to the client? And we actually, one thing we have done is we like help them tier their offer. So I won't even get into the details of that. It's really nuanced to real estate, but yeah, we teach some basic templates, but not anything crazy. We're really trying to get them to learn how to think.
Okay.
Yeah. Above all else, we want them to change the way they think.
And how do you sell that? Because I guess, you know, if you're pushing growth, right, on a sales call, how will you guys position that real estate? Because I guess, you know, you're almost like trying to sell them on coaching, but nobody actually wants coaching, right?
Yeah.
So how do you position that on a sales call?
So true. It's kind of the idea of sell them what they want, give them what they need.
Mm-hmm.
That is very risky though, I'll be honest. Like we deal with some pissed off realtors who are like, look, I don't want your coaching. I came here for leads. And we're like, look, dude, you need our freaking coaching. Yeah. You're making $50K a year and we have agents who are making $500,000 a year. Like, don't you think you should learn from them? But they're so slow. The egos have so much, realtors have so much ego, so much pride, like all entrepreneurs. So it's tough. We deal with backlash from that. I'll be honest. It's not perfect. I have sold the product myself. I didn't do that until like 2 months ago. Just so I could get like some data. The way I always sold it is every positive I give them, I anchor with not a negative, but a requirement to get the positive. So it's like, look, Serge, I can get you at least 10 listing appointments in the next 6 months, guaranteed, man. But if you want to make the most with those listing appointments, can you agree now before we commit to actually working together? Because this is really important if I'm going to invite you to the program. Can you agree and commit to showing up and getting our coaching and getting our expertise to make sure you're maximizing every single appointment we get you, just so we can be clear that you're making as much money as possible?
Yeah.
Frame it in their benefit, anchor the positive with the requirement. That helps a lot as well if you're ever selling something that's not sexy, so to speak.
I like it. Okay, cool. I love it.
Cool.
I mean, we just talked a little bit more in that also about fulfillment, but one thing that is super insightful, guys, and I want to kind of like repeat it. You want to be, and what's the price point, by the way, in the real estate for this offer?
$6K for 6 months, and then it goes to $997.
Okay, per month.
Yeah, $997 per month after the 6 months.
Okay, cool. For everyone here who's getting into because, you know, maybe Matt, because this is for me one thing that I'm pushing, and maybe we can get your feedback on this. For me lately, I've just been pushing this angle of because my story was I was appointment setting in 2021, just done free appointment setting for other agencies and consultants, and I realized that okay, I can do as much as I can, do the volume of outreach, get the appointments, but these clients wouldn't scale. Because one, they either didn't understand the sales process, they didn't have any content online to nurture the audience or to nurture the leads, and even on the sales process, they wouldn't close and actually sign these clients, right? So I was like, well, we have a problem here. I need to solve more problems. Just like you said, the realtors, they're not going to scale, not necessarily because they can't get leads, but because they don't actually fucking understand business, right? Yeah. So I was like, cool, I need to build a thorough solution. So I built a program where I would solve the offer component, the content, the marketing, and then the sales, right? And then I started charging 10, 15 grand for the same thing I was charging $1,500 a month for, right? And now for us, what we are pushing with our program, with everybody here, is this idea of, instead of, let's say you're a lead gen appointment setting for realtors, right? Or I don't know, for coaches. Instead of you just solving that problem, you actually build mechanisms to solve every other obstacle that they would deal with in a leveraged way, or maybe with systems and processes that you build once, but you implement in every business, but you can still keep the core of your agency or consulting business, be lead gen and marketing, but you solve for every other thing. So when you're selling it, you're not selling appointments, but you're saying like, hey, I'm going to build you a solution of everything you're dealing with,
right?
So that you never have to pay any other agency again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like for us right now, because I don't know if you've been keeping up with what we've been doing, but that's like what the build and release offer is. It's like build and release the whole thing into their business, right?
Love it.
And because for us, what we've seen is like, not every agency is going to succeed, no matter how you put it. So now, because everybody's not becoming an agency owner or consultant, the game is about becoming sophisticated and actually getting that 20%, being part of the 20% that make 80%, instead of being like every 80% will get just 20%, right? So for me, I want to just clarify that the reason why Matt and these agencies that they're scaling, the reason why they're able to scale as fast is because they're solving more problems than just appointment setting, right?
Yeah.
So super important for everyone to just kind of like understand this. Cool. But yeah, should we go into the questions that people asked?
Yeah, let's go into the
do
chat.
it.
Cool. All right, cool. Perfect. Casey, you want to go through this?
Matt, it's all you, brother. You can go down the chat. You can tell people to come off mute, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't kept up with all of them, but I'm going back and scrolling through. Adam said, what's your team size? What are your profit margins? At agency number 1, our team size is about 20 people. Profit margins are around 25-30%. Agency number 2, team size is like maybe 10, 12. We just went from like 3 to like 12 in the last 2 months, or actually in the last month. Profit margins at that agency is nuts. It's like 60-70%, maybe honestly it's been like 70-80%, but we haven't had a big team, so profit margins there have been crazy. Matthew said, that's a great name, by the way, what was the highest leverage hire you made? That is a great question. What is the highest leverage hire you've made?
I guess it depends where you're at in your current life cycle, right?
Yeah, I can just think about like up until, the mark we've been, what has been the best hire? Dang, that's a really good question. I would probably have to say a good sales manager. Yeah. What advice would you have to someone starting out brand new? No agency experience at all. Great question, Janice. Get a good mentor. Like you're in the right place by asking that question. Starting out brand new, best advice is get a skill, a mentor, and a mastermind. That's exactly what college is. You're learning a skill, which is the major. You're in a mastermind, which is the classmates. And then you have a mentor who's the professor. So like what this is just flipping college on its head in a more applicable, relevant way in today's market. So that's skill, mentor, mastermind. Focus on those 3 things. The rest will take care of itself. What's your process on creating high converting ads? The hook is everything. Like the hook is everything. If you're going to split test ads, split test hooks. The first 7 seconds. Have one body, maybe 2 bodies, but then like 10 different hooks. And you're just pumping out tons of different hooks. We did an ad today. My CEO showed it to our team this morning. His dad owns a funeral home. So this is kind of messed up. But my CEO is like in the funeral home, like giving a eulogy. again, kind of messed up. But he's giving a eulogy and he's like, "We are here to celebrate the life of this deceased realtor." And then it flashes to one of his friends in a casket. And he's like, "This realtor was cold calling. He was door knocking. He was relying on old ways of marketing. And now he is thus passed away. If only he knew about estate AI." And then the realtor in the casket wakes up and he's like, "Estate AI? What's that?" And then, shit like that. So we get really creative with it. And
That's sick.
we had something that went viral in our niche about a year ago. It's called the real estate rap. If you've ever seen my YouTube videos, you've probably heard me talk about this. We got a production guy who also happens to be a rapper, and he made a song called the real estate rap, and he's just rapping about the problems of being a real estate agent, and then he's pitching in our offer as the solution to all those problems. That went viral. That ad, we spent $2,500 for him to make that ad. We probably made $600,000 from it. So it's like it was nuts. So that's how we get creative. Just think outside the box. And also, such an important tip: good artist copy, great artist steal. Go to other markets, go to other niches, go to commercials on YouTube, go to the ads you see, and just steal it. Steal it. You don't get arrested for that. You can steal other people's stuff when it comes to marketing. And I don't mean literally copy it verbatim. Just steal the idea and then make it your own. That's exactly what Picasso, probably the best artist of all time, said. Good artist copy, great artist steal. So that's probably the most tactical advice I could give there. How to leverage content instead of doing outreach. Content for personal, like for your business. We're not big on content. We just started our YouTube channel for real estate. So I honestly don't know if I could give the best answer on that. I would say actually focus on outreach. Like content's valuable, but it's risky. Like outreach, you know what you're going to get. At a certain point, it just becomes a game of inputs and outputs. Like you do 100 calls, you get 3 appointments back. And it's just about, okay, cool. How do I do 1,000 calls instead of 100? That's way more reliable than testing 10 different reels and seeing what pops. So I'm a big fan of outreach, to be honest. Cool. Malcolm said, "I'm curious to know," guys, before I keep going, I want to make sure I know I talk fast. It's because I get really freaking excited about business because I'm a nerd. If you guys could just drop a 1 or something in the chat if this is hitting, if this is helpful, if it's making sense, just so I know we're on the right track. Because if we're not, I want to fix that. Cool. Okay. I want to get some of you guys actually involved in this, so it's not just me rambling to myself. This is like business therapy for me, looking at all the problems. Malcolm says, "I'm curious to know, how do you set expectations with your clients, and what expectations do you set to start the relationship right?" That is a beautiful question, Malcolm. I love that question. That is one of the things I'm so freaking obsessed with, is client expectations. There's a quote that I heard once that has always stuck with me, and it said, "When expectations differ, problems arise." So when what the client expects is different than what you expect, problems inevitably are incurred. Same thing with team members. When they expect something different than what you expect, problems arise. So we are very transparent with the realtors. We have a full 160 slide presentation that we take them through. In fact, because a friend of Serge and KC is a friend of mine, I'm going to just drop this for you guys.
Oh, shoot. Dropping the sauce, please.
Let's have some fun.
Give this guy some dubs real quick. Drop him some dubs, please.
All right, y'all drop some. If you drop some dubs, I'll drop it after the dubs so it doesn't get lost in the Zoom. But I'll paste it again. But yeah, it's like a 160 slide presentation. We're just walking them through. Number 1, we're leveraging case studies. At the top of the expectation deck, it's like, this is what realtors have been able to do with our system. Look at all this success. This clearly works. You agree? Cool. Okay. What does it take to get that success? I just sent it again in the chat, by the way. There's the doc. Okay, cool. What did they do to get that success? Because now if I can tell you, yo, you can make $1 million a year, now you're listening. Now it's like, okay, what did they do to make $1 million a year? And you're going to do whatever they had to do as long as you're willing to put in the work. Like, you're going to just follow the path. So at the top, we leverage case studies. And then we anchor again. We anchor here's what's required, though. And the biggest thing in an expectation deck is transferring ownership of the outcome to them. You're now saying, look, client, you are responsible for what happens here. All of our clients have succeeded and some haven't. What does that mean the X variable is? The client, the program's the same. The ads are the same. The coaching calls are the same. Some people win, some people lose. We tell our clients straight up, winners win, losers lose. Which one do you want to be? 90% of realtors fail in the first 5 years. Which one do you want to be? I can't turn a loser into a winner. I can only make a winner win more. It's going to be up to you what you do, Mr. Client. And we're just so blunt with them, bro. And they're just like, damn, no one's ever talked to me this way. These guys are about their shit. They're not messing around, and they respect it because we're honest. The other thing is we use a Dan Henry quote that I heard once. I have seen people pay for programs. I've seen people become millionaires with programs and masterminds that I've seen other people dispute and ask for refunds for. At the end of the day, it is on the person, not the program. And so we say that to them. We say, look, I've seen people complain about this. I've seen people become millionaires. It is up to you what you want to do. And that expectation, they're just like, shit, all right, it's on me. It's on me. So I hope that helps. Malcolm, Malcolm asked that question. Which variables you saw that you would control in the work of real estate agents to help them experience success? Number of leads per month and conversion rate. Most importantly, lead to appointment ratio. How many leads do you get per month and how many of them become appointments? Most important thing. Those are the leading indicators of income. Opportunities and conversion rate. That's the leading indicator of net worth for a realtor. What are your thoughts on a niche that is not that big in terms of people, but it is kind of untapped, and I have proof of concept that I can get them the leads and have a fresh concept to implement? All right, Dennis, I'm bringing you here with me, wherever you are at. If you can unmute yourself, what is the niche that you're thinking? Let's see.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. What up?
Hey guys. Hey Serge. Hey guys. Good to be here. Yeah. So basically, last year I tested travel agencies as a niche for TikTok ads when it was like very trendy, and I got some clients, got some success with it. And one of my clients accidentally was a destination wedding planner, like those guys that plan destination weddings abroad in Mexico, Italy, India, or whatever. Now, when I work with that lady, I actually had a very good funnel in terms of bringing her leads. Like I was booking like 1, 2, 3 appointments per day for her, which is crazy for a destination wedding planner. The problem was I didn't have a build and release offer, man. Like she couldn't close deals. She had no follow-up system. She had no offer, nothing, So I kind of blanked, but I'm looking at getting into that again. I actually own the domain destinationweddingclients.com as well, but I'm worried about the size of the industry because if you take, can you guys hear me? I think I just got cut.
Yeah, no, we can.
No, you're still there. Can you hear us, Dennis?
Am I back here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for that. So yeah, when I take a look on the internet, I see like from the data that there's about maybe 70, 80, 90K people in this industry, which is very small compared to like 2 million in the real estate.
This is a great question, dude. To clarify, a big enough market is 50,000 or more, in my opinion. Gotcha. So if 70, 80, 90K and you were crushing results, send it, bro. Send it. But if it doesn't work, don't blame it on me. But send it. But no, dude, I like that. 70, 80, 90K. You were getting great results. Let's go. Run it.
Would you go with ads or outreach for this niche since it's not that big?
Dude, if I can do ads, I'm doing ads. I would scrape I would pay a VA to scrape every single contact in the niche. I would put them into cold email campaigns and I would run ads to them as well. I'd make lookalike audiences off of them and I would just blast ads, bro. Blast some crazy ads. You could do so much funny stuff with wedding destination planning. Like you can come up with so many creative things. I would just blast that, bro. So yeah, man, best of luck. That's a great question.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
Dennis, get in that market and just go crazy, man. Like, come on, what are you waiting for, bro? Build and release everything. Pretty simple. You build a snapshot, you build a sequence, you find the creatives that work, you find the ads, you find the targeting, and even better, you help them recruit maybe VAs from the Philippines who will help them manage client communication. There you go.
You also you could even take over that for them if you're able to make it more expensive. Like you could, I mean, you could hire the people and train them, or you could build it in-house and manage it. Or there's probably a lot of AI softwares you can use for that stuff too, bro. Like there's, yeah, so many. Those are gems from Serge. There's a lot of stuff you can do there, bro. But best of luck.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows Stevie Johnson, like 600K a month SMMA owner. Dude's a savage. I did a podcast with him here in Fort Lauderdale last night, and they have like the lowest churn rate I've ever seen in SMMA at 600K a month. Like it's insane. They're charging ridiculous amounts of money. Their clients are getting great results, and the number one thing they focus on is calling the leads for their clients. So they're eating their customers' complexity. Like any point of complexity that the client faces, they eat it for them. And that's why they're able to charge so much. So that's another thing to just think about. How can I eat my clients' complexity for them?
Yes, sir. That's where the money is at. And I keep telling people, build it, sell it, hire it, take it, then anybody else can afford. So are they done for you managing the appointment setting, or are they building maybe appointment setting team? So as an example,
they're doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing it instead. I know some people who are building out teams, but they're doing it in-house, which I think is easier. Because here's the problem: if you build it out for the client, now they have a new problem. They don't know how to manage the ISA team. So you can help them with become a better manager, or you can just eat it for them. Either could work, but if you're gonna go through the struggle of building out a ton of different ISA teams, I don't know. Either could work. But no, personally,
because here's my model, right?
Yeah.
We come in. Let's say, what niche is Stevie in?
He's in like medical.
Medical? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, that niche might be a little tricky, but you come in and you're like, hey, I'm gonna compete with Stevie instead of him keeping it in-house and charging you every fucking month a shit ton of money. I'm actually gonna come in and build you the ISA team. And I'm just going to charge upfront. It's going to be 90-day time. I'm going to build it, release it, every single infrastructure. I'm going to take care of everything. I'm going to source the talent. I'm going to train them, ramp them up. Then you keep them. Let's say, how much does Stevie charge a month on per client?
3,200. 3,200.
3,200? Yeah. Cool. So let's say it's 3,200, and maybe because for me, we have this model of charging on potential of the mechanism that we built. So let's say if an ISA team, you build it, and maybe they're going to bring in like $1 million a year. Okay. So we're like, well, we can build it for you. The probable potential of this system is maybe $1 million a year, but we know that not everybody's going to achieve that thing consistently. So we're going to say 50% probability of achieving the potential. And then you're like, hey, we're going to charge, let's say like 10%. Right. So then you're like, hey, I'm going to charge 10%. It's 50K. Right? Or maybe I can even do half of it, 25K, and then it's a 90-day program. I'm going to build and release it. And now I think, at least from what I've noticed with the market, is when you tell them like, hey, I'm going to build the thing you want and need, and you never have to pay me again, especially people who've been burned by agencies, they're a lot more willing to even spend more money than they would spend on a recurring. And like you just said, it creates another problem, which is management. So now a lot of clients who are pushing this build and release offers are having issues with like, oh, but how do I retain them? Well, yeah, by them having an ISA team, they're going to fucking have management issues. So that's where you retain them. And then you have, because management consulting is more leverage than done for you managing an ISA team like Stevie is doing. Right. So for us, that's kind of like been the logic. It's like, force yourself out of business and then consult on the next problems.
I think it's a great thesis, and I actually agree with it a lot. I have a very similar approach with our new agency, where it's like one of the offers we were testing is like, we'll build out your marketing department, own it,
sir.
Right? Instead of renting 2K a month from these agency gurus for freaking 12 months, paying them 24K. And then if they do well, you pay them another year and then another year, and you're relying on them.
Yep.
We'll just build it out for you. We'll help you manage it, and then boom. So yeah, I do think that's a really interesting offer.
Yeah, no, because also running an agency is super tedious, man. Like managing like done for you work, man. It's like no matter how much money you're making, man. Like it gets to a point where like, man, this is a lot of stress, even if I'm getting rich.
Tell me about it, bro.
So yeah, but anyway, cool. But we could talk about this all day. But guys, let's answer your questions.
So Carson said, what advice do you have scaling a real estate agent marketing agency? Basically, I mean, not to be like lib, but like everything we've been talking about, right? Like this is what we used. So all of this would be my best advice. I know you asked that question like 40 minutes ago. But yeah, I mean, on top of that, be honest with them, build a sales machine, and never stop selling, never stop recruiting, bro. Never stop selling, never stop recruiting. What would be the failure scenario of an agent working with you but not getting the desired results? What did you put in place to reduce the risk of it happening? That's a great question, Gabriel. What would be the failure scenario? So on our end, to be blunt, it's a bad market. If the agent's in a bad market and like our ads are just like high CPLs or whatever, like, you know, that's like there are times where our results on our end aren't, you know, as great. That is the challenge with Done For You, right? Like if they're in a tough market like LA, it's hard to get good results there, just to be straight with you guys. Usually what the failure scenario is they come in excited, they do about 2 weeks of work, and then they say, you know what? Yeah, I don't really want to call leads. I don't really want to go drop off packets at the leads' houses. I don't really want to put in the work. I'd rather be comfortable and not have to work hard, not get outside my comfort zone. And I'd rather just live that way and blame it all on the marketing company. That's usually the scenario. And we were talking about this yesterday with Stevie. It's like most people say they want things that they don't actually want. Why do people do that? Like you pull up to the traffic light and you see the guy in the Lamborghini or next to you. You see the guy in the Lambo and you say, man, I want a Lambo. And then you go back home and you freaking watch some porn and go on TikTok and scroll, like watch Netflix all night. And it's like, bro, you just said you wanted a Lambo 3 hours ago. What are you doing? You don't want a Lambo. Why are you telling yourself you want a Lambo? And so like most of our clients do that, you know, they say, I want to make 200K a year as a realtor. And then they go home and they freaking sit on the couch and watch Netflix. And it's like, bro, just don't want that. Like if you're going to say you want it, reflect that in your actions. But if you're going to say you want it and then you don't reflect that in your actions, why even say you want it? That's where suffering comes from. So that's the most common form of failure that we see. Did you use outreach when you got started? I started off cold calling dentists 5 years ago. Hated that crap, bro. Oh my gosh. Terrible niche to cold call. But yeah, we do a lot of cold outreach. We did cold emails. The first 5 agencies were all cold outreach. Cold email automation is very real. It can definitely work. Cold DMs as well. So yeah, how do you approve ads targeting real estate agents for the 10 listing guaranteed offer? For one of our clients, we were trying to launch the offer, but it keeps on rejecting it, saying we need to be under housing category. Yeah, just put it on the housing category and it should work. Sometimes it can slip through the algorithm, but usually just putting it in the housing category will help, and then you have to do that radius. This comment got 3 likes, so I'll answer this. What is a good budget to test ads with? And what do you look for to qualify an ad as a winning ad? Ooh, for clients or for yourself, Wyatt? Is that question for you or for your clients?
Did we do both? Or I'll wait for him to answer. Both. I want to do both. But Wyatt, okay. You can come off mute. Come off mute, brother, and answer. Technical difficulties. All good.
You're good. We can answer both. So what is a good budget to test with for the clients? I mean, our clients are only doing like $25 a day in ad spend. They're not doing a ton of ad spend. So we might split test, like if they're not getting good results, then we might split test half of the budget to testing. But like for ourselves, when we're testing new ads,
there
you go.
I was able to get it now. I was saying that for like my agency.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so for your agency, how much are you spending per month on ads right now?
I'm building out the campaign right now, so I was kind of talking about it earlier, but I hired a marketing agency to actually run my ads. Like I don't run a marketing agency. Like mine's more of like what Serge is trying to do with like a build and release offer. Sure. But I hired a marketing agency, and they kind of did like not good at all. So I was like, okay, I can't rely on an agency. I need to do it myself. So I'm just kind of wondering, what would be a good place to start? Because this is like my first time ever really running ads.
Yeah. I mean, like personally, I would ask you okay, how much money do you have? You don't have to answer that, but that's what I would ask. And then I would say, whatever that answer is, like, let's say you have 20 grand. I would keep the 6-month emergency fund. Dave Ramsey vibes out here. I keep the 6-month emergency fund. Make sure you got that straight. And then everything else, start putting into paid ads. I mean, like, sorry, bro. That's what I would say. So yeah, keep honestly, you could go down to 3-month emergency fund, low-key, but anyway, bro, I don't want to give you that advice. 6-month emergency fund, and then the rest I would start testing into paid ads. Like, let's say you have 10,000 left over. Maybe you're doing like, start off like test with $100 a day, right? In that case, or $50 a day, and see what comes back. One tip for media buying, before you turn off an ad set or kill an ad set, you want to have at least double or triple the average cost per action. So if your average cost per lead is $50, you don't want to turn off an ad set if it's brand new until you're at like $100. You want to give it at least double the average cost per result before you make changes. So I hope that helps.
Okay. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Let me message my leadership team real quick and see if I can move them like 5 minutes behind, because I know we.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. You got a hard cutoff, huh?
I should be straight.
Yeah, you just let us know when you're coming to the end, brother.
Cool. Let's do like a few more, and then I'll probably have to run at like 104, 105.
Cool.
So Jad said, what is the AI software that can automate this personalized video? I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I saw Serge make a video on this like 6 months ago. So Serge, I don't know if you know this. We don't use the software. We built it in-house. That's, by the way, somebody asked earlier, what's the best hire you made? Close second to good sales manager is a freaking wizard, bro. Like an automation technical beast. That they can, like, this dude's building out code. I wish I could share what we're building right now, but I unfortunately can't. But he's building out something that like will turn us into a software company, and we pay him $2,000 a month. And if we can turn into a software company, our enterprise value goes from a 3x multiple to a 5 to 10x multiple. So if you get a really good automation specialist who can code things, you can literally become a software company. And like it's crazy. So that's what we're doing, Jad. We're building it in-house with our actual person. But there's softwares you can pay probably like $30, $50 a month on. If you YouTube it, I think you'll be able to find it. I unfortunately don't know the name. From your experience, what has been the best payment model with real estate? Done for you, basic retainer, setup fee plus commission, basic retainer. You can do pay-per deal. Pay-per deal is something we're doing at one of our new agencies. People love it. So you can do pay-per deal, but honestly, like basic retainer works too. How do you probably leave on this question, how do you convince A players, particularly closers, to work with you instead of a more established company? Advice on helping them see the vision. That is amazing question, Dylan. Dylan with an O. I like that. It's unique. That's a different way to spell that name. Very cool. Dylan, that is a great question. How do you recruit A players to work with you instead of a bigger company? If you want to recruit great people, you have to have a great vision. Like anybody who's ever made change in history ever started off as underdogs, but they had a great vision. They had a massive vision. They had this great idea of the way the world would work. And so thus they attracted people who already had great lives, but wanted something greater to come work with them. So what we do at Estate AI, we have a huge vision. We say we want to shift the paradigm of the entire real estate industry. We want to shift the paradigm of the entire industry. Most marketing agencies like, oh, we want to serve 100 realtors. Like, no, we want to shift the paradigm of the entire 2.5 million of them, bro. So have a great vision. Have a huge vision. Get very clear on it. There's a great book I'll leave you guys with. It's called Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold. Talks about building a 3-year vivid vision. And if you can create that for yourself and for your company, then you can use that in your recruiting and marketing to employees. And it will make you a more attractive person to work for. The other thing is just showing them the upside potential. Tell a story, right? Like our CEO, he talks about one time in a team meeting, he was like, yeah, the first 10 employees at Apple all became millionaires when it sold, or the first 100 people at Apple all became millionaires when it sold. Why can't we do the same thing? And the team gets all fired up, and it's like, that was why we have great people. But deeper than that, if I'm being radically honest with you, people aren't going to work for somebody who they're better than, like straight up, right? So if you want to attract great people, you first have to become a great person. Say the same thing with like relationship advice. Like if you want the woman of your dreams, well, are you the man of hers? If not, how are you going to get her? So you have to ask yourself, what can I provide to these people? Am I ready for great people? And if not, there's deeper inner work you have to do. I know I had to do a lot, and I still do a ton to this day. So great question, Dylan. Guys, I appreciate you so much. This was fun. Thank you for listening to me.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you, bro. Hey, for everyone in the chat, I dropped his socials. Go follow him on Instagram and YouTube. He drops a lot of good gems on there. Serge, you can take it away.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt, for making time to jump on here. Really appreciate it. And yeah, man, keep killing it. Keep going crazy. And yeah, stay on content, okay? I do believe in content.
What up, Seth? I see you. Yo,
later, bro.
To say before I go, Kareem, you look like a jacked Aiden Ross, bro, and that stick. Shout out to you, bro. All right, guys, I'm out. Much love. Take it easy.
All right, take care.
Later, bro. Y'all have a good day.